There is something profoundly stirring about Princess Leonor of Spain, a quiet force that doesn't ask for attention, yet earns it effortlessly. She does not rely on spectacle or headlines to define her presence. Instead, she advances with calm intention, discipline, and a rare inner steadiness that feels almost luminous in an age shaped by noise and overexposure. At just 20, she embodies a beautiful paradox, unmistakably of her generation, yet deeply anchored in constitutional purpose. In the unfolding story of Europe's monarchies, she is not a relic of tradition, but its most hopeful reinvention. As the daughter and heir of King Felipe and Queen Letizia, Leonor was raised beneath palace ceilings and public scrutiny alike. Yet, what sets her apart is not her closeness to power, but her reverence for preparation. She has read the Spanish Constitution aloud, as a rite of passage. She has trained across the army, navy, and air force, not for ceremony, but for responsibility. She studies with focus, speaks with clarity, and carries herself with the poise of someone who understands that history is not inherited lightly, it is shouldered. This is not a princess simply waiting her turn. This is a monarch being meticulously formed. Born in Madrid on the 31st of October 2005, Leonor's path was drawn early, but never indulgently. When her father ascended the throne in 2014 following the abdication of King Juan Carlos, she became Princess of Asturias at just 8 years old. From that moment, Spain watched not a child of privilege, but a future sovereign being raised with intention in a modern democracy that values transparency and accountability. Her first defining public moment came in 2019. At only 13, she delivered her inaugural speech at the Princess of Asturias Awards. Reading directly from the Constitution, she did more than recite words. She pledged herself to the democratic framework she is destined to protect. Calm, composed, and unflinching, she offered Spain its first clear glimpse of a future queen, shaped by principle rather than pageantry. Her education followed the same thoughtful design. After studying in Madrid, she moved to Wales in 2021 to attend UWC Atlantic College, completing the International Baccalaureate alongside students from across the globe. There were shared dormitories, rigorous debate, community service, and independence experiences that widened her worldview far beyond palace walls. When she returned to Spain in 2023, she did so not as a sheltered royal, but as a young woman seasoned by global perspective. For a future queen, that depth matters. It builds empathy. It sharpens judgment. Yet Leonor's education has never been confined to classrooms. Every public appearance, every measured word, every composed silence reflects a deeper curriculum, statecraft, symbolism, and service. With each passing year, it becomes increasingly clear that Spain is not simply raising a queen, it is preparing a leader who understands both where the nation has been and where it must go. Her military formation has only amplified that sense of purpose. In Spain, the monarch is commander-in-chief, and for Leonor, that role is not ceremonial abstraction, it is lived experience. In August 2023, she entered the General Military Academy in Zaragoza, embarking on a demanding 3-year program across the armed forces. Wearing uniform, hair neatly drawn back, posture unwavering, she stepped into barracks life under the name Bourbon Ortiz, a symbolic fusion of lineage and identity. She trained without privilege, embraced discipline without complaint, and earned respect through effort. When she swore loyalty to Spain during her oath to the flag in October 2023, the image resonated deeply. A teenage princess kneeling before the national standard, committing herself fully to constitutional service. It was solemn, it was powerful, and it was sincere. Naval training followed in 2024 aboard the historic training ship Juan Sebastián de Elcano, where life at sea tested endurance and teamwork. Later, she took to the skies, completing a solo flight in a Pilatus PC-21 aircraft, an almost mythic image of a future queen piloting her own course. Yet for Leonor, it was simply another responsibility met with quiet resolve. Far from feeling outdated, her military path has become one of the most compelling aspects of her public identity. In a generation often portrayed as distant from institutions, she leans into them. Discipline is her signature, duty, her language. Her diplomatic presence has grown just as deliberately. In July 2024, she undertook her first solo foreign engagement in Portugal, meeting leaders, discussing environmental stewardship, and representing Spain with assurance and grace. Awarded the Grand Cross of the Military Order of Christ, she stood not in anyone's shadow, but fully in her own light. At home, the Princess of Asturias Awards have become her intellectual stage. With each year, her voice grows stronger, her presence more assured. By 2026, she is expected to guide the ceremony herself, a clear signal that she is no longer merely lending her name, but shaping its meaning. What makes Princess Leonor so compelling is her balance. She is institutional yet deeply human, a cadet in uniform one day, a poised young woman in an evening gown the next. Her style is restrained, intentional, quietly authoritative. She dresses not to impress, but to affirm presence. She is striking, yes, but never ornamental. Her composure, symmetry, and steady gaze reflect confidence rather than performance. Beauty, in her case, enhances seriousness rather than distracting from it. Moments with her family reveal warmth and ease, laughter beside her parents, relaxed appearances with her sister, Infanta Sofia. These glimpses soften the institution without diminishing its gravity. They remind the public that behind the crown is a young woman growing steadily into her role. Even football, Spain's shared heartbeat, connects her naturally to the nation. Her genuine joy at matches, her easy applause, her shared celebrations bridge the distance between crown and crowd. She does not manufacture relatability. She lives alignment. As her training continues and her responsibilities expand, the shape of her future reign comes into focus. She represents a monarchy that has learned, adapted, and chosen preparation over spectacle. Spain may one day welcome a queen regnant again, but the fascination with Leonor is not rooted in nostalgia. It is rooted in confidence. Confidence that the future is being carefully, conscientiously, and beautifully prepared.